guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, I'm guessing he's probably in his mid to late 50s or so, and he shares this story from like 30 years ago, back in the 90s, and how he kicked to the curb this gal that he was seeing after discovering she was married. And not just that, there were plenty of other things going on there. And that'll be a great one to go over here, guys, really making the point how there are a lot of women out there, married or just in relationships, who will be more than happy to hook up with guys on the side and not only keep it quiet that they're married or in a relationship and putting you potentially in harm's way, but the way they justify it is absolutely unreal. And it goes to show you that the same crap that happens now was happening 30 years ago. They may have used different words and excuses, but it's the same darn thing. And it's so important for you guys out there that do dating and relationships and all that. You got to do your homework. Really do some recon about a gal you're getting involved with, because you never know. Some guy could show up at your house or at your work or wherever, and it could end very badly, and you had no idea. And of course, they play the innocent victim here. And amongst many other things, you're going to discover things. You're going to see other things he discovers about her along the way. So it starts off, says here, howdy, strong, successful male. I thought I'd share a personal story and experience that took place about 30 years ago. I met this slender and very attractive free spirit of a gal while doing a photo shoot of a model friend of mine on the beach. Right there, when he said free spirit, that's trouble. They're fun to have a roll in the hay with and all, but even then you gotta be careful for obvious reasons. As soon as I was done working the photo shoot, this very pretty lady approached me smiling and introduced herself as Alexis. She asked if I would take her picture, for which I politely declined, explaining that I had to rush off to work. That probably shocked her, if she's good looking, which I'm assuming she was. What? You're not going to drop everything you're doing and spend time with me? Well, apparently after I left, Alexis asked my friend who I was, and then she showed up at my work a week later to invite me out for lunch. Okay, that's both flattering and scary that she's tracking you down. Probably because you rejected her. That's why she suddenly had become obsessed with you. Well, it turns out that Alexis was funny, intelligent, interesting, feminine, and respectful. Well, you're about to see that's not true. She seemed to take life very casually, and it didn't appear like anything bothered her. She was what I described as a free spirit. This was refreshing to see. I was also very impressed that she didn't display any jealousy that I had sometimes photographed beautiful women as a hobby. Even a few of my friends had met her and approved of her. Okay, he's thinking, what can go wrong? This is easy. She's pursuing me. She's good looking, carefree, cool, laid back. I got it made. Well, bait and switch. So we met up again for breakfast a couple weeks later, and after our first date, and had a great time, and walked on the beach afterwards. Fast forward, after several more dates later, and following a few cocktails, she wanted me to follow her back to her place. By then, I had already vetted her in respect to her marital status, boyfriends, engagements, parental relationships, her friends, etc. Well, clearly not, dude, as you're going to find out what you're going to find out pretty soon. After finishing being intimate that evening, I went looking for the bathroom and accidentally opened a door to a closet. Inside her closet, I found myself standing there, stunned for a minute or two, staring at a collection of men's clothing. Aha, how interesting. Unless she likes to dress up like a dude, something's going on here. Obviously, there's a guy in the picture. Well, I returned to the bedroom to inquire about my discovery. Without missing a beat, she apologized and explained that she was previously married, but is divorced now, and her ex currently is out of the country on an extended business trip, and that he will be gathering his clothes when he returned. Get the fuck out of here. Really? If they were divorced, believe me, he would have gotten all his stuff out of there. Or if his stuff remained, probably she would have lived on fire or something like that. No. What a load of crap. Even though there was no other evidence of a guy living there, her story did seem odd to me, but I thought, what the hell? I was still mentally young, dumb, and I really like Alexis. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. You wanted the pussy. If she wasn't young and carefree and attractive and you were having a good time with her, it would have a different response. If she was just some average, low-hanging fruit that you really, truly didn't give a shit either way, you probably would have walked. But We get quite dumb when it comes. The hotter she is, the dumber we get. Let's be honest here. You all know I'm right. Now it's the days that follow that particular night, which proved to be very interesting. One day she asked me for a ride back from dropping off her car at the mechanic shop, only to have the guy there act a little bizarre and give me strange looks. About a week later, we ran into a waiter friend of hers, and he was also acting strange and giving me weird looks as well. Okay, something's up here. Then our conversations gradually went from simple and interesting to her talking about men and the oppressive patriarchy epidemic that was going on. So much for her being feminine and cool and all this. He's like, what the fuck is this? Honestly, at the time, I didn't even know what that meant. Then Alexis slowly began to criticize what I did for a hobby, that it sexualized and degraded women. F you, lady. This is the same chick that met him on the beach and wanted him to take pictures of her, but now he's being degrading to women. And by the way, those same women that are being degraded, according to the feminists, they volunteer to have their pictures taken and flaunt their bodies. And last thing I checked, look how things have evolved or devolved since the mid-90s when this took place. Need I say any more about Instagram or OnlyFans? I mean, any young gal nowadays, I guarantee there's going to be an Instagram page they have with them doing their selfies, showing pictures of them in bikinis and flaunting their parts. But, because they control it, that's not, degrading women. Well, she then began walking ahead of me, saying, I will never follow no man. Really, bitch, you can keep walking. Walk off a fucking pier into the ocean. I was obviously now really annoyed and very confused, so I decided to sit her down to get to the truth and clarify some things. Bro, why? Why don't you just walk? You had your fun with her. She's clearly not who she says she is. I would have moved on, but I guess you had to know. It turns out she was not divorced, but considered herself single because she didn't love him anymore and was going to file when he returned. There you go, the justification. Lied to you to your face that he was doing. You knew something was wrong, but the good pussy, that's why he stuck around. How many times have you heard this, guys? They move on. Look, they'll stay in relationships or marriages, and they'll find your replacement. Then they'll break up with you, and they'll justify. My heart wasn't there anymore. We'd already broken up in my mind, so therefore what I'm doing isn't cheating. Yeah, sure. Well, it took a good amount of prying, but then I was further shocked to find out that she was paying her mechanic bills with sexual favors, and doing the same thing for her restaurant bills with that waiter. Dude, please tell me you wore protection. And even then, I'd be getting a test done. Next thing you know, you're going to be pissing fire. Well, that all explained the strange looks from the mechanic and the waiter friend. I have no idea how many other financial obligations she handled this way, and quite frankly, I did not want to know. Thank the Lord I wore protection every time, but at that moment, I was disgusted and felt really bad for her oblivious husband. You should have told him. You should have tracked his ass down when he got back. Well, I ended it right then and there, which did not faze her at all. She just said, thank you, that was a lot of fun. Well, think about it. For her, she can get dick as quickly as she wants to. Literally, she can walk outside, hold up a sign that says free pussy, and if she's young and attractive, which I'm assuming she was, boom, there'll be a line of guys down the fucking street. That was the last time I saw or heard from her. Someone told me years ago that Alexis was traveling abroad. I had no indications early on in the relationship that I was actually dating a secret feminist. Now, on the bright side, the time I spent with that particular woman gave me experience, knowledge, and insight. So going forward, I've been able to spot a covert feminist a mile away. Well, I'm sure it's not too hard with her blue fucking hair and the nose rings and all, but I know you said covert feminist, but it's not that hard. I mean, I've seen plenty of very physically beautiful women, but the second they start talking, you can just pick it out. You can even pick it up in their body language. If they have masculine body language, it's almost a guarantee that they are masculine and going to be, fighting for the sisterhood. Even if they don't look like they're part of the sisterhood, they're part of the sisterhood. I forget how many crazy experiences I've had surrounding women in my lifetime, and it's only when I sit down and begin to write that I can relive them. Keep up the great work, SSM, and take care. Well, bro, quick story, but I appreciate that. So there you go, guys. Remember that. For those, I mean, for you guys that have walked away and are no longer dating in relationships, then you don't give a shit. But this only reinforces why you live the life you do. But for the rest of you, and I know there are a lot of you that hook up, date, relationships, all that, you got to do your homework. And they're masters at covering up themselves. But the good thing about nowadays and the internet is you can do your homework, and if you know her name and where she lives and all that, you can do some digging. And of course, if she's going to be on social media, do that as well. Who she communicates with on her posts, who's liking them, who's commenting on them. You got to look, because, yeah, this ended okay for this guy. You know, her husband didn't show up at his place of work with a shotgun, but it could happen. So you got to do your homework. And women like her absolutely do not care. They do not care at all. And when they make up their mind that the relationship is over, some will actually justify saying, well, we're not divorced, but I was done. I didn't inform him, but I was done. And therefore, technically, in my psychotic mind, I wasn't cheating. And for all we know, she could have stayed married to that guy for another 10 years, and he had no idea. So there you go, guys. Be careful. And that is sadly how the mindset is with some of them out there. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story you want to share, or a good question to ask me, or you find a good article you want me to cover and frankly roast, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll most certainly cover it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.